All right, Ben, we are back for our famed jersey segment, and we're trying something new this week. We're doing it via video as well.
Wow.
So if you are listening to this Otherwise Fine podcast on whatever platform you listen to on, swing on over to our YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, search Giles and the Goalie, and we're going to post this Otherwise Fine video there for you as well. But essentially, what we have for you today is to debut our attempt at video segmenting our jersey segment. We are going to give you our Mount Rushmore of hockey jerseys, something we have never actually done ourselves. We've asked many of our guests what their feelings are on their Mount Rushmore. We've never put together our own.
Because it's really hard.
Right. We've essentially always just talked about different jerseys. We said how much we've loved one particular jersey over another, but nothing ever in a sense that we've put our own Mount Rushmore together. So We've done the research literally all week for you, because when we started talking about putting our Mount Rushmore together, we did this on Tuesday and we're recording on Sunday. So we've spent many days in the wilderness putting our drafts together. Many papers have been thrown into the fire trying to craft our Mount Rushmores, but we have come together and we've put our list together for you. So without further ado, we're going to get it going here. Ben, do you want to start with your first jersey on your Mount Rushmore?
Sure. I'll go with the jersey that I'm wearing today. I'll go with the red Montreal Canadiens jersey, the classic version that they wore for many, many years through the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's kind of, an iconic jersey in a lot of ways. It's been around for a long time in similar kind of design. The horizontal stripe through the jersey, I think, is something that they, maybe not necessarily innovated, but it's something that they certainly have popularized. And when you think of at least a hockey team with a stripe going through the center, you think of the Canadiens. And the Florida Panthers have now mimicked it. The Wild have now mimicked
HC.
it. Yeah, Florida HC has mimicked it. But it's a classic jersey. It's an absolute classic. It's something that's been on for a long time and still looks good. They've managed to make, being a Canadian team, making red, white, and blue somehow look Canadian, which is kind of impressive on its own right. So that's what I'm going with. Honoring the classic of all classics with my first jersey.
Okay, that's fair. As a child of the 90s, I'm going to lead off with the jersey and hat that I'm wearing. And that's no surprise to any of our most loyal listeners, but I'm going with the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, their original white jersey that I have on, if you really want to see that. But it's just great. I can't put words into how great it really is, and it gives me the nostalgic feels. It's such a good look, and it probably had to do with the fact that Gordon Bombay made it famous.
Well, I think for you and I both, it means a lot to us. Just being the kids in the 90s and watching those movies. But also, I tend to think, and there's some people that disagree, sure, but I think objectively, I think the crest logo is really good. I honestly do. I think they did a really nice job of, making a duck look like a hockey player and kind of tying that all in, even though it was, this whole Disney production. I think they did a good job.
Could you imagine if they had used the webfoot garbage that they do now for the movie?
I was just thinking about that. Like, I really like John Gibson, and John Gibson is a really good goaltender, but I just can't possibly bring myself to buy his jersey because their jerseys are so putrid. I just couldn't possibly do it. Like, even, and I don't like their anniversary one as much as you do, but I really would like them to make, just an all black jersey with the Mighty Duck logo or something to that effect, so I can buy a John Gibson jersey.
What's your second jersey on the list?
Okay, so my second jersey, I'll also go to the original 6, and I'll also go with the color red. I'm going to go with the Chicago Blackhawks. And that probably isn't popular in this particular market, but I think that even objectively, anybody can agree that logo is just absolutely beautiful. Like that logo is really what makes that jersey. I think they do a good job on the striping and that shoulder patch. I think is really nice as well.
good.
It's a very good shoulder patch. But that Indian head logo is just absolutely beautiful. I spent back before the Wild came. I was a Blackhawks fan in my youth, in between time between the Stars and the Wild, and I taught myself how to draw that logo, and I can't tell you how many times I've drawn it. And it's very hard. It's very intricate, and it was a very big challenge to 10-year-old Ben sitting on the floor of his grandma's basement, watching hockey and drawing logos. But I think it's something that's really stood the test of time, similar to the Canadiens jersey.
I picked something easier to draw, like the Boston Bruins logo, where it's just a circle with a B in it. Just saying.
I never attempted the Red Wings logo for that same reason.
Yeah, that's difficult too.
There's a lot of feathers in those wings,
Yeah.
and it just sounds really hard.
So my next jersey on the list is something that is very near and dear to Minnesotans' hearts. It is also one that I have in my closet. I didn't feature it here with me today, but you have probably seen it before if you would check out the Giles and the Goalie podcast YouTube channel. But it is the 1981 through 1991 North Stars white jersey.
Yes.
Where it had the great crest N with the star above it, and then it had that on the shoulders as well. No different patch on the shoulders, which you never see anymore.
No.
You never see a different or the same patch on the shoulders as you do at the crest.
No.
But the Stars made that look good, and then, of course, so it was white, and then it had the green and the yellow, and then they added black trim to it, which really, I thought, tied it together. The North Stars have a very solid jersey history, period, but I thought this was the one that stands out above the rest, and this one that I love dearly. And it's so good. It's so clean, I guess, is what I'm looking for here. It just, they have the different colors, and they mesh it together well, and then you have just a little touch of black that kind of ties it together, not the full-on body of black that Norm Green introduced to crush our souls eventually. But
I was going to say, when you said they had a good storied jersey history, I was like, except for those last 2 years there, they
well, we don't count that. We don't count that.
Yeah,
That doesn't count.
Those were not our North Stars.
No, that's just stars. Like, why did nobody raise a red flag when he just dropped the North? He just called them stars. Like,
On the jersey, yeah.
what? Okay,
It's
but
weird.
and so that's my number two. And like I said, like, it's so good. Like, the North Stars just have great jerseys altogether. But that's the one that stands out for me, and that's second on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your cleanup?
Well, this would be third for me.
What did I say?
Cleanup. That'd be fourth. This is a hockey podcast,
I
Giles.
need to get my baseball references.
Yeah, geez, the season's going to be here
Spring
in 4
training's
months.
right around the corner.
Anyway, my third jersey is going to be one, and it's very fashionable to throw back to defunct teams, but especially when they have a look this good, I think you have to honor the Hartford Whalers and their original green jerseys. When they came over from the WHA, they were the New England Whalers. Boston threw a fit, kind of understandably didn't want New England in the name. So they went to Hartford, and they went to that beautiful logo with the W and the whale tail and then the H in the negative space. Just because I said whale tail, is that, yeah? That's what it is. What am I supposed to call it, Giles?
7 years old.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Jesus. Get out of high school. But I mean, the original green, they had their mascot Pucky. They had the whale on the shoulder patch. I thought that was kind of neat. Something they did away with later, and I'm not really positive why. I mean, I guess it was kind of cartoonish and dated, but I really did like it. I thought it was very cool. I think it's kind of being maybe bastardized a little bit right now by the Carolina Hurricanes,
Literally.
but. I think it's a really cool jersey. That logo is just something that absolutely stands the test of time. I mean, the fact that we're talking about it and pining over it, this is well over 20 years now since it's been gone. It kind of tells
You're
you
gonna
like
miss me when I'm gone.
right, like just kind of tells you how great of a design that was, how simple, but how impactful that design was when they debuted those jerseys, and the fact that Gordie Howe made his return to the NHL wearing that jersey is very cool as well.
Another jersey that's been gone for almost 20 years now is a jersey that I know you hold this very highly as well.
Yes.
But it is the Los Angeles Kings and their Gretzky-era black jerseys.
Yes.
When Wayne Gretzky was acquired by the Los Angeles Kings in the summer of '88, they introduced a new a new logo, a new color scheme. They went from the form blue and gold, and they went to a black and silver, which they've now since gone back to. But these jerseys are an easy choice for me again. Like, they are so good, and again, so good on the eyes. And why the LA Kings, one, ever did away with it in the 90s and the 2000s when they tried to mesh purple and black together, and then they just, their logo in the 90s sold it. But anyway, this is such a good jersey, and probably had more to do with the fact Wayne Gretzky wore it, which, you know, probably makes it more stands the test of time. And even Saturday night, the LA Kings had 90s night, and their Twitter account had the 90s logo with that great chevron logo that we hold so highly here in this podcast. But that black with the gray touch, and it just a great look, and it just does stand the test of time. And I don't even know, like, when the Kings have done, like, throwback nights. They've gone back to the form blue and gold, which those aren't bad either. Let's be honest. They're good jerseys, but they've never really touched on the Gretzky era jerseys.
It's weird.
Which kind of makes me sad, because you should at some point.
Right.
Like, why? Have you just retired them with Gretzky and Robitaille's number in the rafters? Did I miss that in Staples Center? Like, just do me. If the Anaheim Ducks can bring back the Mighty Ducks for a night, they brought back the Wild Wing jersey for a night. Right. Just bring back the Chevron jerseys for a night.
Yeah. No, I agree. And if Eazy-E made it, wore it, it was cool. So, so I'm going to also go to a jersey that Wayne Gretzky, not made famous, but Wayne Gretzky looked very good in, and a jersey that both of us like. It's a little
Blues.
bit. Yes, the Blues. No, not quite.
Oh.
But it's a jersey that I think is probably a little bit off the radar for a lot of people in the
Burger
Mount Rushmore. Definitely not that one. But it was a jersey that kind of, I felt like, embodied the good in 90s third jerseys, because, that's one of our running shticks is 90s third jerseys on this program.
No.
And that's just a jersey that I felt like they did a very good job doing in the 90s. And that was obviously the New York Rangers Liberty third jersey, the navy jersey with the Statue of Liberty head, NYR on the crest there. I just thought that was such a unique way for New York to capture kind of, taking New York from another angle, basically. I mean, they always had the Rangers, their shield logo, and then the vertical name across the jersey. And just to come at it from a different way and to come up with such a great look. And I think another thing for me is, as being a young goalie growing up, Mike Richter kind of, his mask really became iconic because of that jersey. And then I think they kind of developed that jersey because of his mask, basically. Really was a great look. I mean, it was really kind of a cool thing they did to represent where they were from. It's only New York, and I really like that when you can make a jersey where you see it and instantaneously you know where it's from. That I think makes for a good local tie to a jersey. That's why we like the Kachina Coyote so much. That's why we like the Hartford Whalers with the green and the blue and all that kind of seafaring stuff. It's what makes a jersey good is that kind of connection. And I think it's a little bit off the board, but I think they did a really good job with it. And that's another jersey that hasn't made any kind of comeback whatsoever, and I don't really know why.
In essence, it was like the first city edition jerseys that we've seen the NBA kind of roll out with here in the last couple years.
Yeah.
And New York Rangers really just, it's essentially the same thing. It's a city edition jersey. It looked very good comparative to the rest of the NHL at that time when they were trying to incorporate teal or a bunch of crap that nobody really wanted. But kudos to the Rangers for making that one clean. Speaking of the Rangers, the last one on my list, also the New York Rangers, but no third jerseys here, just their standard whites, which I have a very soft spot for, mainly because a certain goaltender has made them look so good here over the last decade and a half. But
he really makes anything look good, though.
He's a beautiful human being. Let's be honest. But the Rangers whites are just, they're so clean with the blue red trimmed Rangers going down diagonally in the front, and then just the stripes, everything. It just, it's red, white, and blue. It essentially, kind of how you threw out how the Montreal Canadiens made that look good. The New York Rangers have also made that look good, the red, white, and blue. And the whites, really, I've I really have a soft spot for, and I, also have that jersey, which I've not brought with me here today. But really, if I had the whole set of my Mount Rushmore, I would have just brought it in anyway. But I'm just missing one out of the set, so you can't go wrong with it. And credit to the Rangers, when they introduced that early in the 90s, they've never gone away from it. They've not changed from it. Really, even with all the jersey switches to Reebok, to Adidas, they've kept with it. So kudos to them for sticking with something that is so good and so clean, and even their home jerseys as well. But they have done a great job of making sure they stick with that, even though some of their alternates in recent times maybe have been less than stellar. But the whites are always the best out of the Rangers set. So that's my Mount Rushmore. That's Ben Mount Rushmore. Ben, are you surprised that my Mount Rushmore included 3 out of the 4 jerseys being white?
A little
considering
bit.
my stance on white jerseys and being the home team's uniform.
I am a little bit surprised. Personally, I'm not a big white jersey guy. I do agree the Ducks, I believe that is the better looking one, is the white. The North Stars I'm kind of back and forth on, to be honest, and the Rangers I'm back and forth on, to be honest. I really do enjoy the color version of those jerseys as well. But yeah, it is a little bit surprising, especially knowing how much you don't want to see white jerseys at home, you fool.
I mean, I did watch the Dallas Cowboys last night. Do I get credit for that?
No, that doesn't count at all. They don't count towards anything.
All right. Well, anyway, that can wrap it up for this segment on this podcast. Thank you to those who followed along on the audio version of this. Again, if you want to check out the video version of the jersey segment here, we edit in all the pictures of the jerseys essentially, so you can kind of see what we're talking about as we're going along, and you can also see our ugly faces as well. So sorry for that. But to wrap up the show. You can find Ben and I again on Twitter at Ben Remington, at Giles Farrell. You can find our podcast on Twitter at GATG Wild Podcast. We write for a website called Zone Coverage, zonecoverage.com/subscribe. Use a promo code GATG20. We'll get you a whole year's subscription to the website for just a lovely $20. And then you can find this otherwise fine production on iTunes, Libsyn, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Google Play, all that fun stuff. You do listen on iTunes. Please leave us a rating. Even if you don't have nice things to say, I don't really care. We love to have a good laugh. So
we've got better audio quality now. Stop complaining.
Yeah, this is. We actually have 2 producers today. We had to call in some second set of hired hands here to make sure
our sound quality usually is. They needed
to make sure our audio quality runs smoothly. Today we have 2 folks helping us out here. So thank you to them, and thank you to those who have stuck around and listened to us. And we will check back in with you next week.
Later.